So this video is about a software project that I've been working on. I call it the Research Multiplier. And basically what it is a software-based research platform. And it helps the user of the software to compare similar things and or find out the basis of comparison between these different similar things by first spidering down all the public information on the internet and then presenting it in such a way and searching for key terms and then helping them to build a list of synonyms or other common data extraction fields or things that are common to these things that you're researching. So it acquires the data. It lets the user manually remove bogus data or whatever gets pulled down. The data that it acquires right now is both images and textual data. Then it lets them define the fields to be extracted, and then it also allows for incremental data pulls. So that way, it won't search for the same thing it's already searched for, or won't pull down the same information. It suppresses duplication. Also, it'll get rid of all your ad servers and sources of junk data that are out of scope for what you're really looking for. And so, what it could be used for, are any type of products, cars, machines. Could be used for sports. Maybe you have pro athlete stats you want to try to find or compare. What I was using it for was a plant database to extract common, things you might be interested in about plants, and like, what are their water requirements, what growth zones, are they flammable, are they, are they drought resistant? Any type of things that you might be able to find. You might not be able to find this all in one source. Or on one internet site, but there might be multiple ones out there that might have the data, but they're just in such diverging forms of data sets that you want to try to standardize it and get it into structured data so that later on you can sort and filter and you can run different reports. And this thing will do that, for the most part, but without, me telling you a lot about what it does, let me just show it to you, and then you can draw your own conclusions if it's going to be useful to you or not. So let's say you're interested in sports cars. We're going to hit an add button, and we're just going to add a sports car, like a 2017 Chevy Camaro. And we'll hit OK. And what's going to happen is that as soon as we add this, it starts searching. You see it starting. It tells you what it's searching for here. And it's finding these links on Google. So right now it found 30 or 50, it's got 30 out of the 50 results that we requested. It's about 80% done with its searching. So once it finds the links, it starts spidering it. And spidering, what that means is it goes out in the web and it goes to the site and starts downloading the textual information and all the images associated with it. And it'll give you a percentage here of how far along it is. But let's to save time, we're going to add another one. Say we want to also look at the 2017 Ford Mustang as well. And so we're going to go ahead and hit that. And what's another one? 2017 Chevy Corvette. Chevy. Okay. So what happens is, as we add these terms, it automatically starts pulling down the information. It's updating this table. This table needs a little bit of work. It's like I say, this is just hot off the grill, or this is a prototype of what I'm building here, and but it's just telling you how much it's pulled down, how much data it has, and this is the first part of it, acquisition. And while these things are downloading, there is options. Not all of them are working right now, but I will wire some of this stuff in. The maximum simultaneous searches are how many search terms do you want to be able to search for simultaneously? If you have a very powerful computer and internet, you could probably put 50 and it wouldn't hurt your computer at all. How many search results to process? This is, when it hits Google, it's going to get a few result sets. How many do we want to take the top 50 results, and go ahead and look at those sites and spider them. The maximum depth to follow the links. When you hit a site, sometimes they can be hyperlinked really deep. to where you can keep following links deeper and deeper. Right now I have it set at 1. That's all it'll do because I figure the most relevant information will be on the first page. But later on I'll increase it to where if you can trace links down to 7, 10, 20 deep if you want to. But it might never get to the end. Eliminate images less than so many kilobytes. So if you have smaller thumbnail images, icon buttons and stuff, you don't want those showing up in what you pull down. So this will eliminate downloading small images. Add domain blocker file. This is where all the ad domains are stored. So that way you can eliminate visiting them and grabbing all the images and polluting your data set. Now this is a custom domain blocker file. Things that are junk. Maybe some Google cache, web caches, or maybe Overstock or Walmart.com. Maybe you don't want those showing up on your results because they might not be yielding what you want with this study. You can always tweak those before the search. And so anyway, those are some project settings. You can always tweak this to get more results if you want. But the software is smart. It knows what links it's already visited. So if it won't go and download anything from there again, it'll just kind of eliminate it. So even if you adjust the settings, maybe you go from 50 search results up to 100, and you hit search again, this search button again, it won't go to the sites it's already spidered. It'll pick up kind of where it's left off and start downloading things, new information. So anyway, what we're waiting for is all these things to get done. Really this percentage to get done, and it'll tell us when we're completed. We're 85% over here. So we'll just wait for that to happen while it's going. Let me explain a few other things. So when these things complete, when the spidering completes, it's going to show you a list of web links for every search term that you have. And then it'll show the images down here. Then it allows you to delete bogus data sets and then also delete images and clean up your data set. Because later on you might want to export it to a HTML stack for just to have a hard copy of it, or for whatever purposes, or it just might be the report that you finally end up doing. Okay, so right here the Chevy Corvette is done, and it took 14 seconds on Google to search. The spider took about 3 minutes and 24 seconds. But this shows you how much junk reduction, or basically, there's probably a lot more pages, but this reduced it down by 750%. So these are pages, you don't have to look at, ad pages and other things, when you were looking through all the different results. And it got 341 images, but still it threw out quite a bit of things because they were just not in scope of what we were looking for. So all these searches have completed, and now if we click on one of these search terms, it will go ahead and populate down here all the images and links that are associated. Now you can see that this Chevy Duramax is probably out of scope. So we're just going to head and delete the Chevy Duramax. So I just highlight here and delete it, and it'll wipe out any images as well that are associated, and this one as well. So that way, now you can kind of see that the Camaro are, the pictures of the Camaro are showing up down here, and then also you can sniper some images that you might not want. You can hold down. I got the Windows key here, or it's probably a command key to. Because I'm on a Mac right now, it's probably the command key to group select, and you hit delete, and it'll take out some of the stuff that's not really relevant, and you can drag and drop images around. I like to drag an image of what I'm looking for to the first position, and the reasons for that is because when we export to an HTML report, it'll show this image. The first one always gets shown. If we hover over it, it'll tell you where we got it, both the web page and also the image name. And that's helpful in case you find something like this, Edmunds. We might want to delete that out because this is on a Volvo, and we could scroll through here and say, okay, maybe Edmunds, isn't some of these links that were found weren't relevant. You can't control Google. Whatever they bring back is what we're kind of using here. But anyway, so you can look through all the images and see which ones are relevant or which ones are not, and go from there. So this is how you kind of clean up your data with just deleting stuff that's not. Or you might find some interesting things in here that you never saw before. That maybe I want to add that as a synonym or something like that. Now you can always add another. You use this add button to add another one, or if you double click, you could put a pipe here, and you could put just maybe Camaro, if you weren't finding enough results, or Chevy Camaro, and it would treat that as a synonym and search for just the Camaro out in the web and add it to the pile here. We're not going to do that because it's kind of beyond the scope of what we're doing here to start. So anyway, so the next thing is, so we got all this data that came down, and now there's certain things that we might want to extract. So what we're going to do is, what's important, maybe miles per gallon, and field synonyms. I don't have any right now. No, there's no real common values for miles per gallon. It can be any from 15 to 30. I'm just going to say miles per gallon. Type in a field description. Don't have a group yet. I'll show you what that works. How that works a little later on. It's just a way to kind of group fields into a more aesthetically pleasing thing. And we're just going to call it just a string for right now. Later on, it'll probably be like an integer range. But right now, all I have wired up is really string, and I wouldn't worry about these yet. So let's go ahead and hit add. And what you see is the mile per gallon field appears here, and now we can populate with data. But what it just did is it shows you all the documents, the lines where mile per gallon might appear. And if I hover over there, it's telling me where the source of this stuff is at, where it found it. But there's our search term. So here we might be able to say, well, it varies quite a bit, depending on what kind of engine you have, whatever. And you could get anywhere from 30 to 39 miles, or maybe 24 to 39, just depends on your engine type. So we can go up here and say, 27 to 39 up here. And, so there's other things, I don't want to save the project too. Whenever that red button's highlighted, it means that you've got to save your project. So now we're going to put in here engine type, or just engine. And, what kind of engine is it? Well, that's a hard thing, is it, and so what we'll do is we'll just put that in. We'll put that in there because everybody has their own unique engine type. But what we're going to put in here is maybe V6 or V8 or maybe something with inline. These are common values that could be associated with that engine, and then I'm just going to call it the engine type here. And right now I'm just going to put this as a string. We'll see what comes back. So once I added the engine here. You can kind of see, you can scroll through all the fields, all the different lines and all the different files that came down, and it'll show you, where engine appears, and then what values are present. And so, this is a 6.2 liter V8. So you could always put, okay, I see V6 and V8. You could always put V6 and V8, V6 through V8 or something like that. Now, what these up and down arrows are a way to, maybe you want to see engine above mile per gallon. So we can we can just up and down it, and now engine appears, in its order here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this project out. But that's pretty much the gist of it right now. To where you can define things. I promised you about group. You always click on this button to change things around. I'm going to add a group. I'm going to call it performance group. And hit OK. And I'm going to put the engine in the performance. So I just select performance now. And you'll see that it actually makes a group. Now, a couple things here. Sometimes you want to double check and see what these links are about. If you double click on it, it'll bring up the text conversion here, but also in your browser window, and I'm on a different screen, it'll actually bring up the page, and over there in the browser. And so this is so I'm going to click on the Syracuse. Now this is probably one that you probably don't care about. You can always double spot check what it pulled down. It does have some pretty good stats on it, so maybe it's all right. So it's just a quick way to double check your these links and make sure they're providing viable information. And and as I write filters in the future for this stuff, I can make sure my auto detection is working well. So the next stage is either do some kind of natural language processing on this stuff and try to auto populate these fields, so that I can define these huge data sets that I want to extract, and then this will move it into structured data, and I could put in more complex things like for mile per gallon. Like maybe one of the things I want to do is I want to do an int range here, but maybe I'll have some kind of mapper down here that'll know, or I'll have field units called MPG, and the software will know, okay, this is a mile per gallon, so look for MPG, look for this or that, and then try to extract it into this field automatically. So that way it saves a lot of manual effort at trying to scan through all this stuff. But what this does is it finds all these different nuggets for you of information and presents it in a way that makes it easy for you to make a decision. Or you might see different synonyms in here, or different terms that you want to search for, or like for instance, you might see transmission, and so you can always add another field, transmission, and the common values might be like manual, automatic, CVT, hydrostatic. There's many different options for this, and we're just going to put that in. We'll just put that in the miscellaneous, free floating out there. We won't add it to a group. But then there's our transmission, and you'll see, down here on the left, your transmission will be your last grouping here. But you can go through here and you can see that there's probably both manual and automatic transmissions that are available. I'll grab this thumb to kind of move it over here. Or different, 6-speed manual or 8-speed paddle shift automatic. So you can find all this information out, and then come up with a report. So, and not only, as you, all these fields right here are for your entire data set. So if I were to go over here and click on the Ford Mustang, you can see how many pictures you get over here of different Ford Mustangs here. And once again, I don't want free shipping to be my main picture. And there's a lot of bumpers and junk and stuff like, these are auto parts store that carry stuff. Really, what I really want is maybe a nice picture. So I'm just going to drag this up till I get it to the top left. Make sure, it's not quite the first picture. Like I say, this could use a little bit of work till I get it up to where it needs to go. Yeah, let's do a few things. Let's give me a little more real estate here in this way, so I can, Kelly Blue Book. It's amazing all the stuff that kind of comes up with this stuff. Ford Mustang. Let's bring it up. All right. Probably need something send at the beginning or something like that. But like all these different parts, I can group select a lot of this stuff and just hit the delete button, and that will clean up a lot of these things that are irrelevant. But anyway, so you do the same thing for the Chevy Corvette over here, and there's a nice Corvette right there. I'm just going to drag this one over right there. So now what you can do is you've got your fields over here that you want to extract, and after you're done populating them, and you want to export a report, you can always save project, save it often, but then you hit an export an HTML report, and what it'll do is it'll dump out all the HTML pages and throw it to your browser, so that way you can load it up and view the report, and that's pretty much the main where I've gotten with this so far. Like I say, the next enhancements are going to be with auto extraction of this all this information here, and a little bit of a spruce up of the UI. But it just helps you really quickly to come up and find all the nuggets of information that might be relevant, and helps you come up with the data set that you want to extract by looking at what's available, and then saying, oh, I wish I could get that and get this, or these are synonyms or common terms or common values, and it's as a facilitator for research. But that's all I got. So I just want to kind of show you where that was at, and I see lots of stuff I got to fix on this, but this is where the project's at. So thanks for listening, and once I get a new one, I'll send the links out for that.